All right, good morning, sports and coffee. This is the world debut of Fight Card Boxing by Powder Blue Sports, John Turnbull's latest amazing game. So, what is a Powder Blue Sports game consist of? Well, generally, it consists of a decide or die, whether it's offense or defense with your teams. The staples of the game, decide or die, generally either 2 or 3 dice, will access the actual game mechanics, which will give you your data toward deciding whether teams are scoring or winning, etc. Right? There may or may not be the use of percentile dice depending on what the game requires. This does require percentile dice to see who's actively scoring damage. And then, of course, this is to determine how much damage they do per round. This decides which boxer goes first. And going first matters because the boxer who goes first can win the fight outright before the other boxer gets to go. So pretty basic. But Powder Blue Sports features game mechanics with data on the cards that reflect the production of the team that season or of the scoring for that team that year, or in the case of boxers, their career in how they managed throughout their career. So this is going to be the debut. I'll put here debut bout number 1 of hopefully millions. Here we go. Location. Let's find out where we're at. 64. We're going to be at 64 is going to put us at York Hall in London. Holy cow, York Hall. That's pretty sweet. York Hall. I love this because I can never think of real arenas, unless I look up where they actually fought. Today is 10/15/25. One of the best days ever. I know that already. Boxer Ray Boom Boom Mancini. Boom Boom Mancini, lightweight bout. And this is a lightweight 12-round bout between Ray Boom Boom Mancini, and he's going to be lightweight right here. Lightweight, right? And he will be number 1 through 3 on my decider die. I have an offense defense die that he recommends, his custom dice, but it's in my other game boxes. So I didn't want to dig those out right now to do this. Okay, we got Arturo Gatti, folks. Whew. So we're going to put Mancini and Gatti. Okay, so we got Arturo Gatti. They're both straight lightweights. They don't box above or below their weight. Okay, work rate for Mancini 82, which is phenomenal. Their intensity is 7. Endurance is 77. Okay, work rate for Arturo Gatti 80. Intensity is 8. Whew. And endurance is 73. Mancini tires at 6, so put a box around that. Gatti at 5, right? Okay. So one thing, again, this will be my first fight ever. I have watched a couple of test fights John put up privately for me, and I've read through his initial instructions. But one thing we definitely want to do is rounds. Self-explanatory. This number will come into play the longer the fight goes on. So what I do want to do is look up, after a boxer reaches a rounds per bout number, all damage points inflicted will increase by 3. Oof, wow. That's amazing. So in other words, when Mancini gets tired, Gatti adds 3 points of damage to him. So it's going to be brutal. Okay. So we got the venue. So I'm going to put that back here. I'm going to have my knockout and TKO scenarios right here. And then, of course, whoops, I need to have this stuff laminated because I'm known to spill coffee or leave coffee rings on my stuff. So there's our knockout into fight scenario finder. So we only need this when the fight's decided, right? And then we have these 100-point scenarios span physical, psychological, strategic dimensions, showcasing when damage is inflicted. So I can check this on damage. Most likely, I'm going to check it when there's maybe a multiplier, right? So, all right, folks. So let's begin this fight. It's going to be a 12-round bout. We're at your call between Ray Boom Boom Mancini, who is in his career 29-5-0 with 23 knockouts, versus Arturo Gatti, who's 40-9 in his career with 31 knockouts. 34 bouts for Mancini, 49 bouts for Gatti in his career. Mancini's 5'4 1/4. That's about 5'4 1/2. That's about my height. I'm about 5'3 3/4. 65-inch reach. 5'7", so Gatti has the height, and Gatti has 5 inches on him. So this ought to be fascinating. All right, so first thing we determine, right, we'll determine whether this is Gatti, Boom Boom or Gatti. This determines damage. This determines work rate. So we're going to roll them all together with this amazing new die. Thank you, John, for this dice roller. I'm telling you, I haven't had one that I could use that I was reliable. It's going to be amazing. All right, so ding, 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 round 1 underway. It's going to be Arturo Gatti, 53. He's in his work rate 8. So it's going to be Gatti. Work rate, yes. Oh, that's the number. But I'm just going to highlight yes. Damage roll is 8. 8 for Gatti is going to score 8 points. So 8 points against 77. He's down to 69 already is Mancini. All right. We already know who's won the work rate, so now we go for Mancini's turn in round 1. Mancini's going to get his work rate. 12 multiplier. Mancini comes out on fire, in charge. 12. It's going to be a multiplier. Holy cow. So yes. Work rate roll is 12. Damage roll 12. Our work rate roll was 39. Multiplier. Yes. Multiplier roll. Folks, multiply this by 7. Oh my lord. 6 times 7 is 43 points of damage. Holy cow. Multiplier KO. It's not a KO. 43 points of damage. So he beats the living hell out of Gatti in the first round. 43 from 73. Leaves him with 30 endurance points left. That, folks, is brutal. Let's go ahead and find out what maybe Gatti did here. I mean, Mancini did. Boom, boom, killing him 51. Attrition and accumulation. Repeated body shots causing fatigue. So Mancini blasting his obliques, his ribs, his abdomen, his diaphragm. As Mancini is working the body like a some gun. Okay, so we get a multiplier. Right? Automatically, he's going to win. So they both score, but he got a multiplier, which gives him advantage. He's going to win 10-9. That's how we do the judges if somebody scores. If they both score, we check. If one scores, the other doesn't, they get it. If we get a multiplier, the guy who gets a multiplier wins it. If neither score, we go to the judges, right? Okay, if they both get multipliers, we go to the judges. But Boom Boom flat blisters his ass in round 1. Holy cow. Arturo Gatti is, I would imagine, will be spitting up blood tomorrow. Maybe tonight, right? Okay, it's going to be Ray Mancini, and it is 0-1, folks. Holy cow. First action. Second action. Work rate roll 0-1. Yes. Damage roll is 7. No multiplier for that. Damage roll is 7 more points. He's down to 23 already. Right now, Boom Boom is kicking arse. Wow, 0-1 again. So work rate roll, whoops, 0-1. And yes, and damage roll is 7. And 7 for him is 8 points. So he actually does a little more damage than Mancini. Down to 61. Holy cow, folks. They both scored, so this is where we need to determine who wins the round. So first thing we do is we roll again 1 through 3 is Mancini. This tells us what this judge scores. So judge 1. 6, it's going to be Arturo Gatti's card. 6 is 1-10-9. So Gatti actually wins the judge in round 2, likes Gatti. Wow, the judge in round 2, 8, likes Gatti. And Gatti again, 3. Oh, 10-9. So Gatti actually wins that round, folks. So he's making a comeback. He has survived, although I have a feeling he is feeling those ribs. Man, that's amazing. Okay, so round 3. Here we go. It's going to be Arturo Gatti, 04. Wow, 1. 04, yes. He's going to be 2. And our damage roll is 12. Oh no, folks, we're going to get a multiplier. So roll this and multiply it. 4 times 8 is, what is that? 4 times 8 is 36. Yep, no. 16, 32. 4 multiplier, yes. Was it 8, 16, 20? Yep, 32 points of damage. Holy cow, 32. Multiplier rule is 4. 32. Oh my God, we're down to 29. Mancini gets lit up. How does he do it? 69. Inside fighting. So Arturo Gatti works inside chest bump to disrupt balance. So he disrupts his balance and then unleashes a flurry of blows, causing serious damage to Mancini. Holy cow, that's Mancini's turn now in round 3. We've got 76 work rate, so yes. 76, yes, so that means they're both active. They're both scoring points. 7 is damage, so 7 is going to be 7 points. He is down to 16, folks. This is going to be brutal. And again, automatically, Gatti wins the round 10-9. Because he earned a multiplier, folks. So Gatti's winning this fight 2 rounds to 1 as Boom Boom opened up, blistering his rib cage, his abdomen, his obliques, his kidneys. But Gatti comes back, knocks him off balance, catches him with some sharp combinations, and both of them now are in deep trouble. We're not going to make it to round 5 and 6, folks. It's not going to happen. I can feel it now. Oh, God, a Mancini. It's going to be 90. Damn, work rate 90 is a failure. So 1, work rate roll is 90, so no points. So that's a bad round for Mancini. 52, so 2, work rate roll is 52. Yes, he's going to score 8, and 8 is 8 more points. Damage roll is 8. He does 8 more points. And 8 from 29 is 21. No points against Gatti. So Gatti's hanging in there. And again, he scored because Arturo Gatti scored and Boom Boom did not. He wins the round automatically 10-9. So we don't have to waste time making rolls that don't make sense, right? Another staple I love about John's games is rarely are there fiddly bits, right? So, see, and here's an example. Since he scored and he did not, that tells me he really dominated the round. I might roll to see how come. Matter of fact, let's do that. Let's find out why he dominated that round. 97. Unorthodox damage. Punching with wrist rotation for sting. Interesting. So he's turning that overhand, right? You might call that an overhand, right? Maybe trying to cut the flesh of the face, right? Trying to twist that glove into the cheeks. Maybe draw a cut, right? That's pretty epic. All right, round 5, folks. That means Gatti, starting round 6, will be adding 3 points to Mancini. So this is so Gatti really needs to win this fight right here. Here we go. This is kind of a big deal because they're both so low. Oh, it's going to be Gatti, Arturo Gatti, 05. So he's going to be 1, 05, yes. 2. His damage roll is 7. And 7 is another 8 points. As he is consistent, and that's going to bring Mancini. Let's see, that's going to bring Mancini down to 13 points. Whew, all right, Mancini's turn. Here we go. Mancini's going to get his work rate roll 17. Yes. His damage roll is 5. 5 is 8 points of damage. And that's going to bring Gatti down to 8, folks. And now Gatti is in deep trouble. Gatti really needs to win this next round. He needs to win this work rate roll first, and then he needs to get 13 or more to end the fight. If not, I think Mancini's going to have the big win here. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the judges. They both score, so remember we look at the judges. Judge 1 says that's going to be Mancini. 9 is 10-9. So Mancini gets a little love from Judge 1 in round 5. Mancini 4 is going to be 10-9. So Mancini's got the first 2 judges of round 5. And Mancini again, 8 is 10-9. Oof, he almost lost that round. Not lost it, but lost that judge. There it is, folks. So we're going into the absolute. This is probably the final round right here. Unbelievable. Okay, so whoever wins this work rate roll needs to land that punch, and this fight may be over, folks. Here we go. This is epic. They're both beat to hell. And again, we can predict it because they're both beat up. They're both maybe sweating, bleeding. It's obvious that they're barely making it back to their corners. So somebody might see this as somewhat anticlimactic, being able to see that damage. What that tells me is I've seen a vicious fight that is, these two guys don't like each other, right? I don't mind knowing that we're on the verge of the fight being ended. Okay, it's going to be Gatti. Dang it! I was rooting for Mancini. 44. He does get his work rate roll. This fight may be over, folks. 8 is 8 more points. And 8 from 13 is 5. Mancini survives. He's down to 5. That means Mancini with a good roll here can win this fight, folks. Mancini basically just needs to land this punch. 51 he does. So 2, work rate 2, 51. And yes, he rolls a 7. And remember, we add 3 because Gatti is tired. So 7 and 3 is 10 points of damage because he is tired now, right? So 10 from 8 is -2. And folks, the fight is over. Let's roll to see how this fight ends. How does this fight end? 37. 37. The fighter's hands drop. He drops his gloves and stops defending. The ref steps in. TKO. So he basically cannot defend himself any longer. Boom Boom's going to win this fight on a TKO. So fight result, round 6. Round 6. Mancini wins TKO. And I'm going to put here in parentheses number 37 so I can always go back and look it up, right? So now I know I can look back and say, wow, Mancini, he dropped it. He couldn't defend himself anymore. He wasn't fighting back. So Gatti was just wasted. Notes. Intense. Intense bout. Heavy damage by both fighters, by both boxers. Mancini set the tone in round number 1. Boom. There it is, folks. That is the world debut of fight card boxing. That is brilliant. Love the scorecards. I mean, I would use score sheets. To be honest, I would use score sheets for all these games, except I just can't afford to print out score sheets. I know a lot of guys do like laminated, and they use erase markers, but I like to keep files on every game I play, so that wouldn't work for me. That was a pretty sweet debut right there, and I believe I did that perfectly. I don't think I messed that up once, so I think it's a tutorial even, not a bad fight. So again, these are optional. I like this because I like to know whether it was a knockout and how it was a knockout, or whether it was a TKO and what kind of TKO. This is completely optional. And I used this, as you notice, for the multipliers. And when a boxer won a round, the other boxer didn't score. That gives us an idea of what the heck's happening in the fight. I kind of dig that. I would actually probably, I would probably make these non-optional. I think that you could use this when there's a multiplier versus a non-multiplier. Use this when a boxer wins a round and the other boxer doesn't score. You know, and you can use this to find out why that boxer had such an advantage, right? That is sweet. And again, I don't know how long this took me. Don't care. Didn't even stop to have coffee. That's how excited I was to get started on this. I'm being a little quiet, you might tell, because my wife is still sleeping. And I really don't want to wake my wife up. You know, not good. Not wise to start the day with a cranky spouse. There it is, folks. So my debut, Ray Boom Boom Mancini, takes care of Arturo Gatti in a brilliant slugfest. Both of them had a multiplier. Boom Boom had a huge 43-point multiplier that dropped Gatti to 30 points, so he was hurt. And I have a feeling, right, when you're punished like this, I'm thinking he may have a broken rib, cracked rib, right? Because when you drop to more than half of your points in one round, and you can't recover, which tells me he probably had a broken rib or something. I bet you $1 million, right? I could explain this as a cracked rib. Gotti suffered a cracked rib or something, man. Boom, boom, laying the lumber, laying the leather to Arturo Gatti. Thank you for watching. This has been the Fight Card Boxing by Powder Blue Sports. Click the link below and you can get it all free.